Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Proton Pack podcast. I'm Kristian Fenix. With me always is Tony. Tone, how you doing today?
Doing good, buddy. It's great to be back doing this with you for episode 3. I know we're on an every other week kind of schedule, but this is great. So it's good to be back.
Yeah, every other week as of now. We're going to try and make it every week, but, sometimes that's just the way that things work out. But on today's show, we're going to be talking about The X-Files, Jeremy Renner recovering, Marvel's Wonder Man. We're going to be talking about Secret Invasion. We're going to take a look at the box office preview, Captain America New World Order, Thomas Hayden Church, and maybe a return to Sandman, Deadpool 3, a new Street Fighter movie, perhaps the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, Final Fantasy VII, and Multiverses. All of that and much more on this episode of the Proton Pack. Don't go anywhere. Happy Friday, folks. This is the Proton Pack podcast. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm Kristian Fenix. With me always is Tony. Tone, how's your week going so far?
Week has been good. I'm a little tired today because I already did my long day of work. But it's been good, man. Made it out, seen a couple of movies, caught up on Ted Lasso and The Mandalorian this week, finished off Bad Batch. So, yeah, it's been a productive week. I've been active and lazy all in one.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's been pretty much the same here. Obviously, we try to find the time to put this together for you folks and get it out on a Friday. And so that is exactly what we're doing. But let's go ahead and kick things off the way we do each and every show with our TV segment.
Bazinga!
The cream of the crop!
Hey, baby.
Let's go, Bob.
Excellent.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby. So, Tone, have to ask you, were you ever a fan of The X-Files back in the day when it was on Fox, I believe, right?
Yeah, I liked it. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of it, but I would go over to my buddy Jason Adrian's house, and we watched a few of them. And I'm talking the David Duchovny ones. Yeah. Didn't watch too much of the Robert Patrick ones, but I've seen a few. I wouldn't say I was a super fan, but I enjoyed what I saw.
And it's after David Duchovny left, Robert Patrick came in. It kind of lost its mojo a little bit. I know they did do a movie at some point, but don't remember the movie all that well. The big thing that sticks out for me is the smoking man. He was always there, grizzled, and cigarette between his fingers. But all that goes to say that Ryan Coogler, who sent the Rocky franchise off in a completely new direction with his film Creed, that made one of the most highly respected entries in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Black Panther. Well, now he continues producing Creed sequels and working on further expansions of the Black Panther franchise. It sounds like Coogler is about to put his stamp on another famous property. In a new interview, the X-Files creator Chris Carter has indicated that the sci-fi series is about to get a Ryan Coogler reboot. While being interviewed on the show On the Coast, Carter was asked how the X-Files would be different if it were made in current times. Carter replied, "We're so steeped in conspiracies now. The X-Files dealt with a central conspiracy, but now the world is so full of conspiracies that I think it would be a different show. Actually, I just spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler, who is going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast. So he's got his work cut out for him because we covered so much territory." There hasn't been any mention of a Ryan Coogler take on the X-Files before the interview, so Carter just gave On the Coast a major scoop. I'm a big fan of Ryan Coogler's work. I like what he did with Creed. I like what he did with Fruitvale Station, which was really his breakout directorial debut. I think it'd be interesting to see an X-Files reboot in his hands. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think it would be, in this day and age, everything's rebooted, brought back, different visions. I think it'd be neat to see what it does because it was breaking edge. All right, not breaking edge, groundbreaking for when we were younger, right? Like it was very like different from what you would see on TV, and it had that classic creepy intro, and it was always in that vein of just slightly horror and suspense with sci-fi mix. So I think it would do well if it had the right home. I'm sure it'll end up on a streaming service or something. Now, when they say Ryan Coogler is going to do this, is it going to be a movie or is it like a rebooted TV show?
From the way it sounds, it looks like it's going to be a TV series. My guess is he would act as like an executive producer, probably direct the first episode, and then hand it off and go from there. That's what a lot of these big directors do when, they're rebooting a show. And obviously most of their work is in the film space. And, I'm sure he's working on another Black Panther movie and he's got his hands full otherwise.
Right. No, I think that'll be perfect. If it's a TV show, I think it'll draw attention. There'll be obviously fans from the past that'll go in for a little nostalgia and just kind of see how it is. And hopefully it lives up to the expectations of the fans. And I think a new generation, it's awesome. And it might lead them back to check out the older stuff because I believe it's out there on a streaming service somewhere.
I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know what one, but I'm sure there is a streaming service for it somewhere.
Yeah. And the nice thing is we live in sort of the new golden age of television where, storytelling is really gone beyond movies. You don't have 2.5 hours to tell a complete story. You have, 9 episodes, 7 episodes at an hour each to really kind of get people involved and get people, loving characters and really diving into a character development versus, just trying to cram it all into one movie.
Right. And I think that's the best way. I mean, I used this example before when they did Motley Crue's The Dirt. They should have done that as a limited series versus 1 hour and a half movie to jam an entire story in there. I think it would have been better. I think series are actually the way to go. I mean, we look at Mandalorian today. I'm glad it wasn't just a movie. I love the fact that it's a show and it's got week to week. Now, not every week is a home run, but it's a damn good show.
Like last week's or this week's.
Yeah, the last two they've been odd. Been a little odd, though. I appreciate Doc Brown and Jack Black making an appearance.
Yeah, I'll just go as far to say that, don't cram a cameo in with an actress who's not a actress in real life because she sticks out like a sore thumb. We're talking about you, Lizzo.
Lizzo!
But even Jack Black was slightly distracting. But
a little bit.
I digress. Let's go ahead and move into our next story, which is a little less geeky, nerdy. Obviously, this actor has to do a lot with the realm that we talk about. But it hits a little more close to home for you and I here, Tone. And we're talking about Jeremy Renner. So Jeremy Renner will make his first public appearance since his January 1st accident, stepping out of the premiere of his upcoming series Renovations next month. The event is set to take place on April 11th, so next week, the day before the show comes to Disney+. He also sat for an interview with Diane Sawyer and indeed seems to be on the mend. Jeremy Renner has been keeping his fans in the know about the progress of his recovery, stemming from the New Year's Day accident that left him with blunt chest trauma, that's a hard one to say, and 30 broken bones. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the laundry list of injuries included a broken face and eye socket, 8 ribs broken in 14 places, as well as broken right knee, left tibia, clavicle, right shoulder, and ankles, along with a punctured lung and other intense injuries. At the time, Renner was listed as being in critical but stable condition. Over the past few months, the actor has taken to social media to detail his recovery process, show appreciation for his team of doctors, and promote his projects. Just this last week, Renner posted a video that showed him on his feet in an anti-gravity machine, a tremendous goal that has opened the door for him to make the premiere of Renovations in less than 2 weeks. Given everything that he's been through, I am amazed he's come as far as he has. It's mind-numbing the amount of injuries he had and where he's at now.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. What a sad story. And the whole fact that this took place, if you guys are watching this podcast and you wonder where this happened, it happened in northern Nevada, which is home for Kristian and I. Obviously, I live in Colorado, but that's home base for me. Up in the Incline Village area. And, the fact that he he got out and tried to help people during one of the many big snowstorms you guys got this winter. Holy cow. Knocking on wood that there's no more. Be done with it, right?
Yeah.
So him getting actually run over by a snowcat. Now, all you guys got to do is to wonder what this thing looks like when we say snowcat. Go to his Instagram. He's got plenty of videos of him driving this thing. It is amazing this thing didn't kill him. This thing is a freaking tank.
Yeah.
And like you said, this happened January 1st. We're here on April 7th. Not even 4 months. And here he is in this picture with Diane Sawyer that I'm looking at.
And he looks totally normal. I mean,
he looks super normal. I don't know if he'll ever be 100%. I'm sure he's going to have a lifetime of lingering effects from this. But, God bless him. And the fact that he puts out, like, he finds his strength in keeping his fans updated. And, what a horrific thing. And I'm just glad that he's on the mend. And, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I mean, I just would say a month ago, I injured my ribs. I had 2 bruised ribs, and I took a blunt trauma to the chest, but not like this.
No.
and I can tell you just 2 bruised ribs was painful. I can only imagine. This dude is something else. And, I actually can't say I've ever looked forward to a Diane Sawyer interview, but this is one that I would check out and I'm interested in seeing.
The other thing is if you do watch the Renovation series, that was shot here in Reno as well. And so, if you're local to the Reno area or if you ever wanted to check it out, it's, and the neat thing about being here and being in production, I know a lot of the people who worked on that show. And so it's going to be fun to go and watch and see areas around our hometown that, you never really get to see on TV.
No, I'm loving the celebrity love that he brings to Nevada as well as Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it's cool. I really geek out the fact that these dudes are out talking about Northern Nevada because it's beautiful. It's a great place. And I'm glad it gets a little more love because it's always Vegas, Vegas, Vegas when it comes to Nevada. So.
Yeah, kind of the redheaded stepchild of Vegas. But
exactly, yeah.
But I love it here and couldn't imagine living pretty much anywhere else. All right, well,
there's a lot of places, my dude.
Yeah, certainly have. Let's move on to our next story, sticking in the world of Disney Plus. And of course, Jeremy Renner was Hawkeye. Hopefully we'll see him in another season of Hawkeye. But the MCU Disney Plus series information just keeps coming out. We're really excited about some of the things that are on the horizon. And this is a project that I wasn't all that familiar with, didn't even know it was really being made, but I'm kind of excited about the information that's coming out around it. So basically, family drama is nothing new to the MCU, but Wonder Man might be taking things to another level. TV Line is reporting that Demetrius Grosse has joined the upcoming Disney Plus series as Eric Williams. In the comics, Eric was the brother of Wonder Man Simon Williams. Eric went on to become the Grim Reaper, one of Wonder Man's deadliest enemies. Grosse's feature credits include Straight Outta Compton and Rampage. On the small screen, he was a series regular on Cinemax's Banshee, and he has also made recurring appearances on Justified, Westworld, and Fear the Walking Dead. His character in the latter series, Josiah LaRue, will reportedly make an appearance during the final season, which kicks off in May. Tony, are you excited about a Wonder Man series? I can't imagine it's a comic book series you followed much as a kid, but it's in the hands of Disney and Marvel Studios. I can't imagine it'll be bad.
No, it's a cool looking character based on the comic. And I actually thought that was Lenny from Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, but it's
I did too at first. It's not.
I had to look at that. Don't know anything about this character, so I'm kind of out of my element here, but here's the thing. Marvel has introduced so many different characters over the years that I've been unfamiliar with, such as the Guardians of the Galaxy, like a new Rocket Raccoon, but the rest very unfamiliar with. Black Panther, and they've made them mainstream. They've taken a lot of characters that I just never really followed, and it's great. I think they've done a great job. Moon Knight's one like I hadn't really followed, and I got to get attached to those characters. So, I look forward to it. It's going to be a TV show. I'm sure it'll tie in somewhere, and look forward to it. Anything Marvel, I'm always down with. unless it's complete crap, which I'm looking at you, Miss Marvel. I tried. I watched the whole season. It was tough.
It had its good points, but for the most part, wasn't my favorite. I have a feeling that this will tie in very much into Shang-Chi. In fact, it's going to be executive produced by Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi. And what's really exciting...
Shang-Chi, baby!
What's really exciting is we're getting Ben Kingsley back as Trevor Slattery. He was probably the best part of Shang-Chi.
He was also one of the best parts of Iron Man 3. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Well, it was a disappointing because he was the original
Mandarin.
I was gonna call him the Mandalorian. he's not Mando, but he was the original Mandarin. But the way they went with that, they dropped the ball. They totally Vince McMahon that crap, and they really just dropped the ball. Damn it! And but they salvaged his character. They really did. And they made him a character you care about, you can invest in. So
nailed his character in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, yes, he did.
If you were curious about who's going to be playing the title character of Wonder Man, Simon Williams, it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. If you don't recognize the name, he was Black Manta in Aquaman.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So
that makes sense.
Put a face with a name.
It's another one of those DC Marvel conversions. They jump ship.
Yep, we're going to see more of that, obviously, as James Gunn is taking over on the DC side. Yeah. But we're not talking DC. We're talking Marvel right now. And let's get into our final story here in TV news. Of course, it is our trailer of the week. We had a couple great trailers that dropped this week.
We really did.
But this one, I think, has me the most excited. Still talking Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion, which, if you never really followed the comic books, it was all about how the Skrulls came in and infiltrated different superheroes and basically took over their identities. This one looks more like it's going to be a political thriller where the Skrulls come in and take over the highest cabinets in the U.S. government. And of course, it all centers around Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, basically coming back to Earth. If you watched the end of, was it Far From Home, Spider-Man? We found out that Nick Fury was actually Talos in disguise, and that he was hanging out on some Skrull ship out in whatever galaxy. And so now he's making his way back to Earth and, coming into some shit for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm glad they're doing this because, like you had mentioned, the Skrulls, like when they portrayed kind of as like good, I was like, well, I always remember them being kind of bad in the comics. Like
they were bad, yeah.
Shapeshifters and things like that. So now here you go. You have good Skrulls and bad Skrulls, and the fact that what the title is Secret Invasion, that was such a big storyline. I hope it does justice. I mean, you got Samuel L. Jackson, and it's going to be a Disney Plus. No, it's not going to be a Disney Plus, right?
Yes, it is. It's a series on Disney Plus, and it's going to tie directly into...
Because wasn't it supposed to be a movie and then it changed?
Yeah.
Like, is that one they broke it down?
Exactly.
Perfect. But you get more story with the series, so I'm stoked.
And it ties into the Thunderbolts, where we're going to see Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, and then obviously later into Captain America: New World Order. So, if you like the political intrigue of Marvel, this is, basically taking us into that next phase of it. Really cool stuff. And then there is one shot in the trailer, which we'll post up on our Facebook page. If you're watching, obviously you can follow along.
Subscribe, like, share, follow. We love you.
But the one shot kind of hints at a character that I'm hoping for, that I was hoping to see in Captain Marvel, Super Skrull. This was a Skrull character that was given all of the powers of the Fantastic Four, and I think we may just see that character here. So
I hope so. I liked playing Super Skrull in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah, good character in that one.
Exactly. Well, folks, that does it for TV news. We are going to head out to our commercial break, but when we come back, we'll be talking movies. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions. Welcome back, folks, to the Proton Pack podcast. We had just finished up our TV segment. We're headed into movies now, but one of the things that we started doing with this new iteration of the show, of course, we're in episode 3 of the new season, is instead of giving you guys the weekend box office breakdown from the previous week, since this comes out on Friday, we're looking ahead to the weekend box office preview, starting out with the number one predicted movie, which is, well, the Super Mario Brothers movie, predicted to make another $90 million. Now, I'm going to see it this afternoon. I know you're going to see it tomorrow.
Tomorrow evening, yep.
I am shocked by the difference of what the critics' reviews have been versus the audience scores. It sounds like, the critics for the most part are not fans of the game, not gamers. They don't really know anything about, the aspects of the game that really play into the true fans, which is really kind of what sets this divide up. But, it's an hour-and-a-half movie. It's from Illumination Studios, who did Despicable Me, The Minions, all of that. I can't imagine that I will be disappointed by going to see it.
No, every Mario fan that I've talked to that has seen it loves it. There's little, they can find little gripes, but you can find that in anything you go and watch. You can find some type of gripe, right? But overall, I mean, this is the movie we've been waiting for, because we grew up with a dog shit version of Super Mario Brothers, which, hey, when we were kids, we loved it. I loved it as a kid.
It's all we could get, right?
But watching it now, it's like, I can tell you Daisy was hot. But you had to be like a hardcore Super Mario fan to know who Daisy was. That wasn't Princess Peach.
Right.
Daisy was like the brunette one that was in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. So I don't know. This looks great. It looks, the only thing I can really anticipate that's going to be kind of shitty is Chris Pratt's Mario accent. But I'm sure you'll get over it as you watch the movie. That's
exactly it. And, you hear what Jack Black did with Bowser, and I think he hit the nail on the head with that voice.
Yeah. And the thing is do you really, somebody put up a thing, and they brought up thing, no disrespect to Charles Marinette. Fantastic and very nice guy we got to meet at Reno Pop Culture Con. But do you really want to hear that voice the entire time? Like every little bit? Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okie dokie.
No, in the Mario games, it's just perfect enough because it's not standing dialogue. It's just little bits and pieces where you really need, a more subdued version where you get those, little cues that, you've grown to love and enjoy, but it's not the through line that's just annoying.
Yeah, the thing is he does, I don't know who he voices in the movie, but Charles Marinette is in the movie as a voice, but I'm not sure what character. I don't know who, so I can't spoil it for you guys unless you've seen it. I look forward to hearing it because he's got a pretty distinct voice.
Yeah.
Because he literally voices Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and I think he does a few others, but.
Yeah. And voice actors for you, they can do so many different voices, but we're in this world where animation is now big names attached and you just kind of, I feel bad for like the Tara Strongs and the John DiMaggios of the world, but it's just the world we live in.
It is. I'm going to predict that this movie will be, to this point, will be the second highest grossing movie this year behind Avatar.
And I've heard that it is the highest grossing already video game adaptation movie of all time.
Oh, yeah. There's no topping it. Dude, it looks great. The anime, you can tell fans of the franchise made this movie and they put the love and detail in it. Based off the trailers I've seen, the sound effects, I cannot wait to watch it and catch all the Easter eggs. I'm sure I won't even catch it the first time. It's a very short runtime movie. It's not very long.
It's about 90 minutes,
I'm excited to see what Jamie thinks of it because she's, she grew up not playing the games and she did beat Super Mario Brothers 1. We beat that about a month or two back,
nice.
But she doesn't know the whole story of the Mario. So it's going to be exciting to see what she thinks as someone that's not super familiar. And then somebody like myself that is very familiar because, hey, just like you, I'm an 80s kid that's just obsessed with this shit. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Looking ahead in the box office predictions, number 2, and it's weird that you get a blockbuster movie of this level that's supposed to open number 2 behind another movie. We're talking Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. They're expecting it only to make $20 million this weekend, which I think would be a major bust for them. I think they were probably expecting more.
Yeah, I think the drop off is, here's the thing. Most the hardcore Dungeons and Dragons fans have already gone and seen it.
Yeah.
So, now it's the looky-loos like myself that wasn't familiar with Dungeons and Dragons growing up. I know about it. I'm familiar, but I don't know enough of it. It looks very enjoyable. It looks like a fun fantasy movie with some comedy and action. It looks good to me. I'm not going to knock it. It looks way better than that Wayans Brothers ones that we got like 10, 15 years ago.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Right? They did that one. And that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I would anticipate that that's about right. You're going up against a heavyweight. You're going up against Super Mario Brothers. You'd be foolish to open up against this movie this weekend. You really would.
Yeah. Now, the third place movie in the predictions is opening this week. Obviously, you've seen it. It was a Wednesday opening, but it really isn't positioned to compete with those other 2 movies. We're talking about the reteaming of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in Air, which is the story of Air Jordans from Nike. Looks like a phenomenal movie. Obviously, you've seen it already, and you're giving it 2 thumbs up, right?
Yeah, it's excellent. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, it's kind of a niche audience, to be honest. Like you gotta have kind of a love of the 80s and a love of Nike and the respect and love of Michael Jordan. It's not even really about Michael Jordan too much. It's more of how his mom netted the deal to get Michael to wear the shoes. Because, spoiler alert, we all know it happens. Air Jordan, that's been a thing forever. But there's times in this movie it makes you think like, is it going to happen? Is this deal really going to happen? They do a good job. Great actors in it. Jason Bateman's fantastic, hilarious in it.
It's great to see Chris Tucker back.
Oh, he does great in it, dude. At times, he even got that smoky voice, like when he does talk to Michael Jordan, which they do a great job. They never let Michael Jordan talk in the movie. And they never really show his face because it's the younger one from 1984.
Right. North Carolina.
They do a great job. Yes. And then having Chris Tucker in it does great. I recommend this movie. It's a niche audience. Do I say go see it prime time, spend a lot of money on it? No. Matinee, stream it. It's fantastic. It's worth a watch. But yeah, I like it. And the 10 mil is about right. Again, you're opening up against Super Mario Brothers. What do you expect?
Right. All right, in 4th place in the predictions is, John Wick Chapter 4, expect to open with about $5 million. Again, I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't seen this one yet. It's been a busy couple weeks for me, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it in theaters at some point soon.
Absolutely. See this in theaters, see it on the biggest screen you could see it in the loudest theater possible. This movie kicks all the
DFX, yeah.
It is a golden up. It is fantastic. It is like a 10 out of 10. This movie is fantastic. The only nitpick I could give you guys is it was long, but it was it paced itself. You got to stay. There's a bonus credit. I had no idea. You got to stay. End of the trailer. There is a bonus credit scene. I was foolish. I did not stay because I was like, oh, well, it's over. Great story. Not going to spoil nothing for you, but it's a must. Go see this sucker in theaters. It is fantastic. And I said sucker just for those listening. I did not say the other.
And I get the sense that the bonus credit has to do with the ballerina spinoff that's coming down the line with Ana de Armas.
Yes.
Again, if it's anything in the vein of John Wick, I'll be there. I'll see it.
Oh my God. Yeah, this thing is great. And what I love about it is, how many times in a franchise can you say, oh my God, that was better than the last one? Oh, that was so much better. Yeah. And John Wick, man, in my opinion, every chapter was better and better. And this one's banging. It is the best, in my opinion, of the 4.
I'm excited.
Fantastic.
I'm excited to see it. I'll have to carve out some time this weekend, but
definitely.
And then rounding out the top 5 in the predictions, obviously we're headed into Easter weekend, and the movie His Only Son is expected to make $3 million, which as you could probably expect, is a religious movie. Don't know if Kirk Cameron's involved, but, not exactly our cup of tea, and doesn't really fall into the, genres of what we talk about here on the Proton Pack.
Yeah, no. If it's got Candace Cameron in it, go see it. You're good. I got nothing to say. It's just that's, again, a niche audience, and, it'll draw some money. So good for that. And if you guys like it and it was good, let us know. You can comment below. Let us know what you thought of any of these movies you see. Give us any feedback you want. We'd love to hear it. So,
yep. Well, let's get back into the geeky, nerdy stuff when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
And of
Pump
course,
it up.
We're talking a lot about Marvel today, which, is fitting because
NWO for life. I'm sorry. That was a little too much.
Well, and it's a nice little hint on what we're talking about here. As part of a surprise announcement, Liv Tyler, who you may know from Armageddon or the Lord of the Rings trilogy, is returning.
Steven Tyler's daughter, Steven Tyler PJs. Steven Tyler PJs.
She's returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The actress will reprise her role as scientist Betty Ross, first seen in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Tyler is returning for Captain America: New World Order, starring Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson as the successor of the Shield and Stripes. Now, Ross is the daughter of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who the late William Hurt played in multiple Marvel films before he passed away last year in 2022 of prostate cancer. Harrison Ford will now play the general going forward. The Incredible Hulk smashed onto screens in the summer of 2008 following the launch of Marvel's first MCU film, Iron Man. The adventure features Marvel's meanest and greenest hero, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, played by Edward Norton, before Mark Ruffalo embraced the role for the Avengers in 2012. Tyler starred in the film as Betty Ross alongside Norton, Tim Roth's villain, the leader, Abomination, William Hurt as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and Tim Blake Nelson, who played Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader. So I mixed that up a little bit, but Tim Roth was the Abomination. Tim Blake Nelson was Samuel Stearns, and he's also going to be back in this Captain America movie. So, again, we talked a little bit earlier in the TV segment about how Secret Invasion leads to Thunderbolts, leads to this film. And it's going to be cool getting some of the original Incredible Hulk actors back to reprise their roles, since we're not getting a Incredible Hulk movie anytime soon.
No, well, we can't. It's owned by the rights to Universal. So they've always got to be these extra side characters in these other movies. That's why, if you guys were wondering. It's all about rights and who owns the rights. But they did great bringing back, Tim Roth's Abomination in
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. And it was fantastic. He did so great with it. I was always wondering what happened to Betty Ross because she just kind of disappeared. Hulk never, Banner never talked about it. It's like they kind of omitted like the Incredible Hulk ever happened. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're bringing her back and it's going to be Liv Tyler, I think that's great. I look forward to this. I really like that Anthony Mackie is the new Captain America. I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was, it had its, again, ups and downs. You had episodes that kicked ass. You had episodes that kind of dragged ass. So
for sure.
Look forward to this. It's Marvel, and this is a full-on movie. Love the title, New World Order. Look forward to see what happens. The whole setup for Thunderbolts is awesome. They've done a great job building that. Look forward to that.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Thunderbolts is sort of Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. It's, former villains that we've already seen so far that are now, into this world of political intrigue. The other thing that I'm excited about is that, obviously you've got Sam Wilson, who's the new Captain America. Well, what about the Falcon character? Well, we're getting Danny Ramirez, who had just a bit part in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who's going to be the Joaquin Torres version of the Falcon. So we still get the Falcon, which is very cool.
I like it. It's going to be great. Now, if it all ties in with what Phase 5 is supposed to be, Kang is the big bad, I worry what's going to happen with Jonathan Majors. We won't go into it, but I'm just a little curious, friend to friend, what the hell is going to happen with his legal shit going on outside. That's you wonder. But Marvel does do good recasting, but it is going to be a little weird if you have to go that route.
And if there's any updates in that, obviously you can stay tuned to the Proton Pack and we will keep you guys apprised of anything happening with Jonathan Majors. But if you're curious, just do a little deep dive into some of the legal troubles he's having right now, because he's set up to be sort of this recurring character across phases 5 and 6. And I don't know if that actor is going to be king for much longer. We will see.
Yeah, it seems a little sketchy, man. I don't know. Maybe he'll blame his other variant.
There you go. Talking about Marvel movie villains, although Spider-Man 3 remains one of the least popular Spider-Man films.
Come on, emo Peter, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman still stands out. He's a particularly tragic villain as depicted in the movies, having made bad choices he'd like to atone for. In his on-screen return for Spider-Man No Way Home, he mostly served as an ally up until the climactic battle that made him impatient. Yet Church wasn't ever on set, appearing solely as a CG creation with a digital double spliced in for his final transformation. That might change as the actor now reveals he's had Sandman return conversations. Speaking with Dis Insider, Church says he talked to Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige about it. I would say that conversations have been had about the possibility of Sandman coming into a future iteration of it. The conversation has happened about him coming back and maybe picking up a more fulfilling story. He also reveals that there were further plans for him in No Way Home, which could be explored in a future project, saying, "We had a whole story involving his daughter for No Way Home, and it just ended up cut." I like Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman in there. I thought it was a shame that we never really got him as the actor in No Way Home. And, we've got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where it's reported that we're going to get Tobey Maguire. Why am I blanking on their names now?
Andrew Garfield,
and even
oh my gosh, our main dude, current Spidey.
Exactly. Why?
I'm blanking on him too. It's you're watching. It's one of those types of things. You're like, just say his name, man.
I know it's going to hit hard, but there are proposed cameos for him.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I knew it was a blanky blank. It's one of those. Once you said that, I was like, wait, I'm even blanking. I shouldn't, because Tom Holland's fantastic.
Yeah, it's Friday. Our brains are shot at this point.
Oh, totally.
But
that's since 3 a.m. Mine's definitely fried.
And by the way, if you guys haven't watched the new Across the Spider-Verse trailer, it is fantastic. Gives you more of the story. Yeah. And I mean, it looks like it's definitely going to one-up Into the Spider-Verse, which was a fantastic movie in its own right.
They did great with that. And hey, I'm with you. Bring back Thomas Hayden Church. I love the fact that they opened the doors for all these old characters to come into the MCU now. That's awesome. Because there was some good characters that could do some good things. I'm still curious what the hell they're going to do with Michael Keaton's Vulture and stuff like that. Are we going to do anything with it? I don't know.
I hope so. Sinister Six movie. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed.
Just leave Giamatti's Rhino out. I don't want any of that crap.
Or Michael Morbius.
No.
Jared Leto.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next story, which stays into, now the Marvel Cinematic Universe, talking Deadpool 3. With news that Succession actor Matthew Macfadyen is joining the cast of Deadpool 3. The highly anticipated sequel stars Ryan Reynolds as the Merc with a Mouth, Wade Wilson, and Hugh Jackman as James Jimmy Howlett, also known as Logan, also known as Wolverine. Emma Corrin from The Crown also stars in a villainous role, yet to be determined. Macfadyen's character remains a mystery, though sources indicate he serves as a third wheel for Wade and Logan's bloody adventure. Macfadyen plays Tom in HBO's Succession, which premiered its fourth and final season 2 Sundays ago. Macfadyen is an Emmy-winning actor, and we're curious who Marvel thinks is a fitting tag-along character to pair with Deadpool and Wolverine. If you had to guess at the character he's playing, what would you think, Tone?
Well, based off this little picture I see of him, let's just go with maybe Gambit.
That is the first name that came to mind for me. You know,
okay, because that's
kind
what
of has
kind of what that
gambit feel.
picture's. Yeah, he does, and I love this because I don't know what's true, what's not true with this Deadpool 3, but I love that they keep saying this person's going to come back as this, and this person's going to come back as this. I hope they just keep flooding it with rumors, so that way we've heard so many things. So when you see it, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or holy crap, they really did do that.
And I'm excited for this movie. You've got Sean Levy, who's going to be directing. If you watched Free Guy, he was the director for that. And then Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese, who directed the first one. They wrote all 3 movies. It's not going to be watered down now that it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by any means.
It is hard R, and that is great because that's what made Deadpool 1 and 2 so great. You gotta let this franchise not take itself seriously and just be as aggressive and offensive as humanly possible.
Yeah. I was reading this week that Morena Baccarin's Vanessa may be coming back as well. She's in talks to reprising that role. She was fantastic in that.
Yes, she was. She was really great. Can't say enough great things about this. And I love the fact that you're getting Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Hell yes. This is fantastic.
And I get the sense he's not going to be the MCU's Wolverine when they get around to the new X-Men movies. I think he's going to sort of bridge the gap between the Fox films and the MCU as sort of a variant version of who we're ultimately going to get.
Yeah. And you know what's great is I think with Deadpool, I almost feel like he's just got to have his own standalone adventures. I kind of hope he just ends up being like a Stan Lee cameo in future movies. Like, he doesn't need to be a part of the Avengers and things like that. I think his own story is perfect.
I think he's a great character, sort of bring new characters in and usher them into other projects. And kind of, being that he's breaking the fourth wall and that he's, the point of view from the audience, it makes sense that he'd be the character to do that.
Yeah, like I can't just see him being on a team. Like I can't see him being a Thunderbolt or an Avenger. And I don't want to see him in any of those things. I like him as his own movie and other characters come to play, like you said, and he sets them up and go from there. But I'm excited to see what they do with this. And I legit cannot wait for this. This is going to be awesome.
I agree. And then let's move on to our last story here, talking movies. A little bit video games. Obviously, our final segment's always talking about video games. And, we were talking a little bit earlier about how the Super Mario movie is supposed to be the highest grossing video game adaptation. Well, we'll see what happens with this adaptation. We're talking about a new live-action Street Fighter feature film is in development at Legendary Entertainment. Legendary Entertainment now holds the rights for the live-action film and television adaptations of Capcom's Street Fighter franchise, which the company announced. All projects from Legendary will be developed in conjunction with Capcom. That announcement didn't reveal any details about the upcoming film, however. Capcom has since confirmed the movie is in development with a tweet released on April 5th, saying a new live-action Street Fighter movie is in the works, co-produced by Legendary Entertainment and Capcom. More news to come in the future. Now, if you've seen any of the other adaptations of Street Fighter in the past, they were cringeworthy, to say
they were bad.
The most.
Oh god, the one we had as a kid, the Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia one, terrible,
so bad.
The Chun-Li one was okay. It wasn't great, and I to be honest, man, I'm not overly optimistic about this either because they brought back Mortal Kombat, and I didn't think Mortal Kombat was all that great. So.
You know what's funny is I've actually gone back and rewatched the new Mortal Kombat again. I enjoyed it much better the second watch than I did the first time, but it's still nowhere near where you would want it to be in this day and age of fan films, No. Well,
and here's the thing. You got the Street Fighter franchise is fantastic as a video game. It's on in the background at your house right now. Take a look at that on that beautiful cabinet back there. It's a great game. I don't know what it'll be for a story of a movie. It's not an adventure. Like when you play the game, you just go and you fly around and you kick different people's asses, and that's it. There's a little story to each character, but it just doesn't grip as a movie. Like I was reading in this article too, kind of glancing, and I forgot they have done a lot of anime and a lot of movies like that, and I think it fits more in that realm. But as far as it being like a kick-ass blockbuster movie, I don't know. I'm just not overly optimistic. We'll see, but
I'm right there with you. Hopefully we'll get some casting announcements, and then, once the trailer comes about, it'll give us a little bit better feeling of if it's even worth going to see. But, as fans of the video game, we're going to hold a little bit of hope there that it's at least halfway decent.
Reserve judgment. Now, I will say Capcom should, if with the success of Mario, maybe look into a Mega Man movie, but not live action, something along the lines of an Illumination types movie. I think you could do something good with that.
I think Capcom. I like the way you think there, bud.
Yes, just no live action though. It's got to be animated.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, that does it for not video game news, movie news. We're going to get into video game news after this, so don't go anywhere. You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions. Welcome back, folks, to the Proton Pack Podcast. We got through TV news. We got through movie news. Now it is time for video game.
Hey, man, you want to play some video games?
Hadouken!
Oh, my! He's on fire!
Time to bubblegum.
You can tell that I'm tired on a Friday, that I just referred to it as video game singular and not video games.
There you go. Video game segment. We're talking one video game and only one video game.
Well, based on this first story, if you're following along, this may be the one video game that you're playing, because the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a game I didn't even know existed until reading
it's a
this
real
article.
game, too. I thought it was April Fool's Day joke. Has
officially crossed the 1 million download mark and has become one of Steam's highest rated games ever. Katie, Mini Kitty, Sonic the Hedgehog social media manager, took to Twitter to share the news, saying over 1 million of you have grabbed The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's currently the number 61 highest rated video game on Steam of all time. Absolutely unreal. Thank you all so much. For those unfamiliar, The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a murder mystery visual novel game that surprise launched on Steam just before April Fool's Day 2023. In the game, which is free, it is Amy Rose's birthday, and she's hosting a murder mystery party that has Sonic becoming the victim. However, things quickly start feeling a bit strange. Then it's your job as a new character to interrogate Sonic's friends and try to get to the bottom of this mystery on the train known as the Mirage Express. Now, I rarely dip into Steam. I'm not much of a PC gamer. In fact, most of what I do is on the Mac anyway. I've got console games, but this one's intriguing. It's sort of more of the old school text-based games, something you would probably see more on like a Game Boy type console, but could be fun. I definitely plan on checking it out. What about you, Tone?
Yeah, this is something like, if it's doing so well on Steam, I hope to see it like, on the Switch or maybe the Xbox or, just something in the indie area. I would at least give it a shot. I like Sonic the Hedgehog games.
It's Friday.
And it is Friday. Woo! As we used to say, words are hard sometimes.
Yep.
But this is different. I'm sure they got Sega's blessing before doing it. I totally thought it was an April Fool's Day joke. It'd be worth a try. I mean, not something I'd go rush out and buy, but different. Wonder who murdered Sonic. That's he's so fast. Like, who's gonna kill Sonic? Then Amy Rose is one of those characters. Unless you played Sonic Adventure, you're not really familiar with that character. She's kind of a big deal lately. They're updating Sonic Origins, which is the high def remasters of Sonic 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Sonic CD. I should say Sonic and Knuckles was the fourth one. But now you can play as Amy Rose in Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. So,
and if you're a fan of Sonic, the new Netflix series is actually pretty decent as well.
Yeah, it's good to check. I heard the last year's Sonic Frontiers was a really good 3D open world game. I've never played it though.
I got it for Reese, and he really enjoys it. It's almost like a Sonic version of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I just know, like, you and I, when we were teens, we were blessed with the Dreamcast, one of the greatest systems in the world.
Yeah.
And I just remember going to your house playing Sonic Adventure and just being mesmerized by that first stage of just running fast speed Sonic, and you got the orca chasing and breaking the beach dock. Man, for its time, I've played it recently and it doesn't hold up as well, but you know, when you're looking at 1999, that was groundbreaking. But yeah, Sonic is a different take, and the fact that Sega went with it's something different, and kudos to them for trying something new.
Sega.
Hey, that's it. Sega, that's Sonic. He's always up to something.
If you don't know the story behind that, Tony, you'll have to find the episode that was related to.
We talked about it. Sonic, the adventures will go on. That was pre-COVID, like literally like a week or two before the world shut down.
Yeah.
Sonic, COVID's coming for you. Maybe that's how he died. He was murdered by COVID.
Oh, that would be disappointing to get through the game, and that's the case.
Yeah. Sega!
All right, so let's move on to our next story here. I have to ask you, how familiar are you with NFTs, the cryptocurrency space, and how it relates to video games?
I've heard a lot about it, not super familiar. NFTs are huge. There's a lot of NFT stuff going on. I know you're more familiar in that market than I am. I'm very unfamiliar when it comes to the video game side of it all, though.
Yeah, when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's got its lovers, its haters, and, it goes big swings. It makes a ton of money. It comes down to next to nothing. But NFTs have kind of gotten in the space where their relation to video games and the collectible space is really big. And best way to think of them, and NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. They're basically like digital collector's items. Digital baseball cards, for lack of a better term. Well, Square Enix has announced a set of collectible trading cards, as I mentioned, to celebrate its 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, which will also be available digitally as NFTs. The Final Fantasy VII Anniversary Art Museum Digital Card Plus collection will be available from March 31st, which obviously already happened, and will feature art, visuals, and famous scenes from the 25 years history of the game. As reported by VGC, each 440 yen, or $3.30 pack, contains 6 physical cards and 1 digital exchange card displaying an alphanumeric code. According to Square Enix's website, the collection is made up of 99 types of trading cards, 3 types of another normal card, 102 types of premium cards, normal cards, foil specifications of other cards, and 3 types of secret cards for a total of 207 types. Now, NFTs, just like trading cards, are limited. They're basically, if you get very rare ones, they can be worth quite a bit of money. And if you're a fan of video games, Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII, this might be a great sort of entry point getting you into the crypto space, the NFT space. And at $3.30 per pack, what do you got to lose, really?
Yeah, and if you're into it, I mean, there you go. Me personally, because I'm kind of old school, I'd be down with just physical cards. I wouldn't collect Final Fantasy, but I like collecting back in the day sports cards. They were fantastic, and I loved when we were kids. You could trade. You're like, hey, I'll give you these 2 for that one, or there was always the joy of getting those packs and going through, and you're like, I gotta get more, and
right, or you get the rookie card or the foils, or
Well, you look at stuff like, here's a crazy thing. My uncle, he had acquired some time when he was in the Navy. He had acquired a rookie. He had 2 of them. He acquired one Tom Brady card mint condition rookie. It was like he had it in a plastic, one of this with the screws, like the hard case, had it graded by Beckett, whole 9. He just sold that sucker for like $2,500 for
Seriously?
one single card.
Oof.
One card. So, where are you going to get that in the crypto? So I'm just saying, if you land a specific rarity, I don't know about the video game stuff. I can't imagine there being something that kind of value, but in the sports world, I can understand it. So, but hey, collectors are going to collect, and I am not going to rain on their parade. So if it's something you're interested to, hey, let us know. I'd love to hear about it. Educate me. I don't know.
Makes a whole lot of sense. All right, well, let's go into our final story here on video game news and the Proton Pack podcast as a whole, at least this episode. Well, Player First Games, the developers behind Multiverses, confirmed that players who spent money on the game throughout the open beta will not get a refund. The news comes from the official Multiverses website under the FAQ page. Under the question, will refunds be available for previously purchased content? It reads, this announcement does not change any current refund policies or terms offered by the storefronts from which Founders Packs or Gleamium bundles were purchased. For more information, please visit the customer support pages for PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Epic Games. Additionally, refunds are not available as a result of the open beta closure. However, all progress and previously earned or purchased content will carry over when Multiverses returns in early 2024. Now, for those of you who don't know what Multiverses is, it's basically Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But with Nickelodeon characters, Warner Brothers characters, you got Batman against SpongeBob, against Shaggy. And, it looked like it could be an entertaining enough game, especially if you like Smash Brothers. But it's hard to reach that level when, you're competing against Nintendo. And it sounds like they're pissing a lot of people off with this announcement.
Yeah. Well, here's the big problem. You made it a freeware game. Free. And I'm using air quotes. Anytime a game, shut up. There's
Siri has her two thoughts.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It is a Smash Brothers ripoff. And yeah, is it cool to watch Bugs Bunny take on Shaggy? Sure, if you're a kid. I mean, because it's all Warner Brother type property, and it's like, you charge for the game. Like, I'm down, release a base game, and then you can start downloading other characters. But I did download this, and I was frustrated because it's like you couldn't play as certain characters. You had to wait until one day when one was available, and then you couldn't access the other character. And it was like a really weird. You can only access certain parts of the game at certain parts of the day. And I'm like, this is stupid. I lost interest real quick.
Yeah. They need to follow the Nintendo mentality. It's, you buy the base game and then DLCs are released over time. And, Smash Brothers and games like Mario Kart, they're still coming out with new content that people are paying for. That's how you make your money back.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, you look at Mario Kart's huge. So Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U. And the game, ran its course. Well, it got re-released for the Switch. And what have they done? They've added new tracks, new characters. And we still have, I think, 2 more rounds of unlockables throughout the year. And it was smart. And they stuck to one price point. $25 gets you everything. You've already paid $60 for the game, but for $25 more, you can have every track. You can have every character. Done deal. Yep.
As soon as it's released, it's in your, it's in the game.
And you can nickel and dime, dude. The fighting games do the same thing. Capcom's notorious for releasing a base bullshit game, Street Fighter V for the PlayStation. Yeah. If you go buy the base vanilla version, you get 8 characters. That's it. Over time, you have to buy fighter packs. Fighter packs are anywhere from $10 to $20, but Capcom's also notorious for, if you're dumb enough to buy it for the full price, give it some time, it goes on sale. I hate that, but this is the world we live in with video games. It is all about replayability. And I love the idea of replayability. I am fine buying digital content that adds to the game. I think what they're doing here, the fact that people actually put in real money, not crypto, real money to unlock some of these characters, to buy some of these, like Batman, you had to pay a little bit of a premium to have him. I think the fact that when this game, I guess, looks like it's shutting down and then they're going to re-release it to try to get you to buy it. The fact that people have supported this game and paid, I think it's bullshit that they don't get a refund, or at least when the game comes out, they don't have access to it. I think that's Bush League, and that's a very bad move on Warner Brothers' part or whoever's making this game. So.
Well, a small correction, they will have access to any content that they've purchased after the official game is released.
Fair.
But
it's fair.
They have to pay for the game in its entirety when it's released. It won't be free any longer at that point.
Well, makes sense. As a freeware game, I don't know how it was staying supportive. I really don't. It didn't seem like they were doing much updates to it. And the gameplay was kind of weak. I'm not going to lie. I tried it out. It wasn't that impressive. Come on. Shaggy throwing sandwiches as his fighting move. Dude's stupid.
No, if you're looking for that, just get Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Play the real deal, man.
Exactly.
You know, I'd say the Nickelodeon one was okay, though. That one wasn't bad. Because they had Ninja Turtles and stuff, and they went back and added voices. That one was legit. This Multiverse one,
not so much.
It's third rate, dude. It's third rate.
And they're late to the game. I mean, it's
late to the party.
It's been done.
Yeah. Well, and you know who else is jumping in on this, which I think is a terrible idea, is Crash Bandicoot. They're trying to add the Bandicoots, and I think they want to put Spyro. Yeah, it's like, get out of here with that. Actually, Sony did a really good one on the PlayStation 4. It was called PlayStation All-Stars. Actually pretty damn good.
Interesting.
I was shocked. They definitely stole a lot of stuff from Smash Brothers, but that was actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. But Multiverse sucks. Don't even waste your time on it.
Well, that's a good note to leave us on, Tome. Well, folks, we wanted to thank you guys again for tuning in, watching, following. Of course, check us out on Facebook. We will post all of these articles on the Facebook page so you can, read for yourself, watch any of the trailers, follow along, and of course, always let us know, what you think, what you want us to cover, and, any suggestions. And if you even want to sponsor the show, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. Tony, that's all.
Give you shout outs.
That's all I got. Anything you want to leave us on?
Well, have a great weekend. Go see movies. Definitely check out Super Mario Brothers. Let us know what you think. Go see Dungeons & Dragons. Let us know what you think. Anything you see, we want to know. What are you guys watching? What are you doing? Follow along. Let us know. Share. Peace. Have a good weekend.
All right. That's another episode in the bag. We are out. Corbin Reese. Love you guys.
I am
Phoenix Bros!
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Woo! Yowie wowie!
Mommy, where's Fluffy?
Goodbye.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers, and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.